Hello, Bitcoin talents and Bitcoin mentors. I want to tell you something about my interview with Yahya Al-Salqan. First, thank you very much that you did it with me. He is a part of the Frankfurt School Blockchain Center. He is a mentor since a few years, I have to say, at the Bitcoin talents, DLT, and NFT talents. And why I was contacting him is because he's also doing some other things instead of only doing something for us here. He is also the CEO at the project ImpactoMoney and eloya.io. For me, it was one of the important points because I'm working for a startup right now. We are also in the blockchain space. The project is called TrendUp, and the startup is called Asike. And we are now at a specific time frame here in the startup. And I thought, as a CEO, he could give some advice or something like that. That was the main idea and helping and giving some advice in this case. We were talking about financing some Web3 startups um, and as well doing something about communication in Web3 Bitcoin products, and as well something about the ecosystem where are some Web3 projects, for instance, in Dubai, or how does Bitcoin and some other blockchains works in the US, how you could use the countries and the infrastructure about it. And we did a bit of reflection about the program and some techniques behind, but again, more in the direction for the startups. Like, for instance, it is more important the traction for more the traction about the project instead of the technique behind. So that means even if it's still based on, in our case, Solana, but for us, as we are talking about the Bitcoin program, from if there's a project based on a Bitcoin, it's more important about the traction instead of only the technique behind. Um, so that means it's more important what does the user has out of this project instead of telling, oh, it's a Web3 project. More saying, okay, what's the benefit for the user of that? And for instance, in the US, it's so some positive points of some blockchain Web3 projects is, in his opinion, that the privacy on the blockchain and that would have a positive impact there as well. He was also telling to me that it would be good for a startup to have a good business plan. It hasn't got to be perfect, but more seeing the whole system and the concept behind that would be much more helpful at that case. Mm. And it's also important how you talk to your target group, that you're speaking the same language at that time. Mm, that you're doing more showing the direct benefit for them, and which how you could help this at that time. Mm. And also, it is important if you want to invest in a startup that you could see that you have a big group of members who are active, so that many people are really on your website and interacting on that. That is an important point for the startup as well if they want to get some investors. So that means the traction, the team, and the way of how a startup could be monetized. That would be much more helpful. There are some ways like getting some money from investors via some term sheets. That would be one way. Um, yeah, and if you're getting it this way, some venture capital, then you're saying you have to have done some milestones, and then you're getting a bit more money for that. And which places are relatively good here right now in Web3 or blockchain spaces that are, for instance, Dubai and Abu Dhabi. There's a good infrastructure with, for instance, Hub 71. And there's also a conference which is right now. So we have end of April. It's end of April, beginning of May, and that's called the Token 2049. It's yeah, a very important project conference. Yeah, and so what does it mean? For us at the project here, which is called TrendHub, it's also that we have to get some more interaction or more traction for us on our platform. That is one of the important stuff. The technique hasn't got to be perfect, but um, but it's more important to have some people here on our platform who are active, and that you have some different ways of monetization. That also is an important point. Okay, I have to say again, thank you very, very much. It was nice to learn something from you, um, Yahya, and we will see each other at the next Bitcoin Talents meeting.